Picture this. You step off the tube into a wave of energy so electric it makes your pulse quicken. The scent of street food mingles with expensive perfume. Red double-decker buses rumble past centuries-old architecture while glass skyscrapers pierce the sky. Theater marquees light up ancient cobblestone streets. This is not Los Angeles. This is not New York. This is London, a city that somehow manages to be 1,000 cities in one, where Roman walls stand beside modern art galleries, where you can have breakfast in a medieval market and dinner overlooking the Thames in a building that did not exist 5 years ago. The question everyone asks is simple. Is the London dream real, or is it just an expensive fantasy sold to tourists and Instagram influencers? Let us find out what it actually feels like to live in one of the most iconic cities on Earth. London sits at the heart of the United Kingdom, a sprawling metropolis of over 9 million people that serves as the nation's political, economic, and cultural capital. This is not just any European city. London is a global powerhouse, one of the few cities in the world that truly lives up to the word international. Walk down any street and you will hear a dozen languages. Visit any neighborhood and you will find communities from Nigeria to Nepal, Jamaica to Japan. The city attracts everyone. Tourists seeking history and culture, students chasing world-class education at institutions like Imperial College and UCL, young professionals hunting career opportunities in finance and tech, immigrants building new lives, wealthy investors purchasing property, and families seeking stability in a relatively safe and structured environment. Around 200,000 people move to London each year, and they come for good reason. This city offers something you cannot find anywhere else, a combination of historic prestige, modern opportunity, and genuine diversity. But London is also expensive, crowded, and exhausting. It demands as much as it gives, and not everyone who arrives falls in love with it. If you visit London as a tourist, the landmarks will overwhelm you in the best way possible. Start with the obvious. Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament stand as the defining image of British politics and history. But Tower of London, nearly 1,000 years old, holds the crown jewels and stories of executions, intrigue, and royal power. Tower Bridge, often confused with London Bridge, is an engineering marvel you can walk across for free or pay to explore inside. Buckingham Palace offers the changing of the guard ceremony, a spectacle of British pageantry that tourists flock to see. The London Eye gives you panoramic views of the entire city, though it will cost you upwards of £30. Westminster Abbey, where kings and queens have been crowned since 1066, is a Gothic masterpiece filled with history. For a modern perspective, climb the Shard, the tallest building in Western Europe, where ticket prices hover around £35, but the view is genuinely breathtaking. The beauty of London is that not everything costs a fortune. The British Museum, the National Gallery, the Natural History Museum, the Science Museum, the Tate Modern, the Victoria and Albert Museum, and dozens of other world-class institutions are completely free to enter. You can spend weeks exploring art, history, and culture without spending a penny on admission. Hyde Park, Regent's Park, and Hampstead Heath offer green space, lakes, and a break from the urban intensity. The South Bank along the Thames is perfect for walking, with street performers, book markets, and views of St. Paul's Cathedral. Camden Market bursts with counterculture, vintage fashion, international street food, and live music. Covent Garden offers buskers, boutique shops, and the feeling of being in a living postcard. Notting Hill, famous for its pastel-colored houses and Portobello Road Market, is picture-perfect, but increasingly expensive. Shoreditch and Brick Lane represent East London's creative and edgy side, with street art, independent cafes, and a thriving nightlife scene. London is packed with neighborhoods that feel like separate villages, each with its own personality, and exploring them costs nothing but time and tube fare.
Now let us talk about food, because London has evolved dramatically from its old reputation of bland British cuisine. The food scene here is one of the most diverse in the world. You can eat Nigerian jollof rice in Peckham, authentic Indian curry in Brick Lane, Chinese dim sum in Chinatown, Turkish kebabs in Green Lanes, Caribbean jerk chicken in Brixton, and Italian pasta in Soho, all within a few tube stops. Street food markets like Borough Market, Maltby Street Market, and South Bank Center Food Market offer everything from gourmet burgers to Middle Eastern meze, Ethiopian injera to Vietnamese pho. Expect to spend between £8 and £15 for a decent street food meal. Traditional British food still exists. Fish and chips from a proper chippy costs around £8 to £10. A full English breakfast at a local cafe will set you back £6 to £9, featuring eggs, bacon, sausage, baked beans, toast, and sometimes black pudding and grilled tomatoes. Pub food is hearty and comforting, with dishes like shepherd's pie, bangers and mash, and Sunday roast dinners that typically cost £12 to £20. Afternoon tea at a mid-range hotel can cost £25 to £50 per person, while luxury spots like the Ritz charge well over £100. For budget eating, chain restaurants like Pret a Manger, Leon, and Greg's offer quick meals between £4 and £8. Casual lunch at a regular restaurant costs £12 to £20. Dinner at a mid-range restaurant averages £25 to £50 per person, not including drinks. High-end dining can easily exceed £70 to £150 per person. Groceries are also not cheap. A weekly shop for one person runs between £40 and £70 depending on where you shop. Budget supermarkets like Aldi and Lidl are cheaper, while Waitrose and Marks & Spencer lean expensive. Eating out regularly in London will drain your wallet fast, which is why many residents cook at home and save dining out for special occasions. Daily life in London is fast-paced, but more balanced than in cities like New York. The work culture leans towards reasonable expectations, with most jobs offering 25 days of paid time off per year in addition to public holidays. The British emphasis on work-life balance is real, though industries like finance and law still demand long hours. Londoners take their pub culture seriously. After-work drinks are a social ritual, and traditional pubs are gathering spots for colleagues, friends, and strangers alike. The city has a strong theater and arts scene, with the West End offering world-class performances ranging from classic Shakespeare to blockbuster musicals. Comedy clubs, live music venues, cinemas, and galleries provide endless entertainment options. Social life in London can be a challenge for newcomers. Londoners are polite but reserved. Do not expect strangers to strike up conversations on the tube or in coffee shops. Building friendships takes effort, but once established, British friendships tend to be genuine and lasting. The city's diversity means you can find communities from almost any background, which helps expats and immigrants feel less isolated. Meetup groups, sports clubs, and cultural organizations are good ways to connect with people. The dating scene is active but notoriously difficult, with apps like Hinge, Bumble, and Tinder dominating the landscape. Londoners can be guarded, and building romantic connections often takes patience. London is generally safe, especially compared to major cities in the United States. Violent crime exists but is relatively low. Petty crime like pickpocketing happens in tourist-heavy areas, so stay aware of your surroundings. Most neighborhoods are safe to walk in during the day, and many are safe at night, though common sense applies. Stick to well-lit streets, avoid isolated areas, and trust your instincts. The city runs 24 hours in many areas, with night buses and some tube lines operating all night on weekends. Women traveling alone should feel reasonably safe, but should still exercise caution late at night.
Transportation in London is extensive and efficient, but expensive. The Tube, London's underground metro system, is the backbone of city travel. A single journey in central zones costs around £2.70, but daily caps prevent you from spending more than £8.50 for unlimited travel in zones 1 and 2. Weekly and monthly travel cards offer better value for regular commuters. Buses are cheaper at £1.75 per ride and offer free transfers within an hour. Overground trains, the DLR and Thames River buses expand your options.
Cycling has grown popular with dedicated bike lanes and the Santander cycle hire scheme, though London traffic can be intimidating. Walking is often the best way to explore central neighborhoods, as many areas are compact and pedestrian-friendly. Owning a car in London is impractical and expensive due to congestion charges, parking costs, and insurance, so most residents rely entirely on public transport. Here is the reality check. London is expensive. Rent dominates your budget. A one-bedroom flat in central London averages £1,600 to £2,000 per month. Move to zones 2 or 3 and you might find something for £1,200 to £1,600. A room in a shared flat in outer zones can cost £700 to £1,000. Families looking for 3-bedroom places in decent areas face rents between £2,500 to £4,000 monthly, sometimes more. Utility bills add another £100 to £200 per month, depending on usage and season. Council tax, a local government tax, ranges from £100 to £300 monthly, based on property value and borough. Groceries cost around £200 to £300 per month for one person. Transport passes add another £160 monthly for zones 1 to 2. If you eat out occasionally, socialize, and enjoy entertainment, budget another £300 to £500. Mobile phone plans cost £15 to £40 monthly. Gym memberships range from £20 to £80 depending on the facility. All told, a single person living in London needs a minimum of £2,000 to £2,500 per month to live comfortably, and that assumes modest lifestyle choices. Families need significantly more. Salaries in London are higher than in most of the UK, with average incomes ranging from £30,000 to £60,000 annually, depending on industry and experience. But even with decent pay, many Londoners struggle with affordability. Who thrives in London? Young professionals in finance, tech, law, medicine, and creative industries find abundant opportunities in networking. The city rewards ambition and hustle. Students benefit from world-class universities and a vibrant social scene. Wealthy individuals enjoy luxury shopping, fine dining, private clubs, and cultural prestige. Immigrants and expats find established communities and support networks. Creatives, artists, and entrepreneurs tap into a dynamic ecosystem of galleries, studios, and startups. Foodies, theater lovers, and history enthusiasts never run out of things to explore. Who struggles? People on low incomes face genuine hardship, as wages often fail to keep pace with living costs. Families find childcare prohibitively expensive and housing inadequate. Introverts may find the city's noise, crowds, and constant stimulation exhausting. Those seeking peace, nature, and space will feel suffocated. Anyone expecting endless sunshine will be disappointed. London's weather is notoriously gray, rainy, and unpredictable. The constant drizzle, short winter days, and lack of sunlight affect mental health for many residents. If you crave beaches, London will not satisfy you. While you can take day trips to Brighton, Whitstable, or Margate, these coastal towns are an hour or more away by train, not part of daily life. London is a river city, not a beach city, and the Thames is not somewhere you swim.
The pros are undeniable. London offers unmatched career opportunities, especially in finance, tech, media, and law. The cultural richness is staggering. Museums, theaters, concerts, markets, and festivals happen year-round. Diversity means you can find communities, cuisines, and experiences from every corner of the globe. Public transport works efficiently despite complaints, and you do not need a car. The city is relatively safe, clean, and organized compared to many global capitals. Free museums and parks mean you can enjoy world-class culture without spending money. The British sense of humor, pub culture, and politeness create a unique social fabric. International travel is easy with multiple airports connecting you to Europe and beyond. The cons are equally real. The cost of living is brutal, with rent consuming enormous portions of income. The weather is dreary, with gray skies, drizzle, and cold winds dominating much of the year. Crowds and congestion make daily life exhausting, especially during rush hour. Social isolation affects many newcomers, as Londoners can be hard to befriend. Noise, pollution, and lack of green space in some areas wear people down. The city's pace is relentless, and burnout is common. Housing quality is often poor, with small flats, old buildings, and inadequate heating. The gap between rich and poor is stark, creating visible inequality. London can feel impersonal, indifferent, and lonely despite being surrounded by millions of people. So, is London worth visiting? Absolutely. Few cities offer such a concentrated mix of history, culture, architecture, and energy. Whether you spend 3 days or 3 weeks, you will find enough to fill every moment. The landmarks are iconic, the museums are world-class, the food is diverse, and the neighborhoods are endlessly fascinating. London rewards curiosity and exploration. It is a city you can return to repeatedly and still discover something new. Is London worth living in? That depends entirely on your priorities, financial situation, and tolerance for expense and chaos. If you have a solid career, enjoy fast-paced environments, value cultural richness, and can afford the cost, London offers an incredible quality of life. If you prioritize affordability, space, sunshine, and tranquility, you will likely feel frustrated and financially stretched. London is not for everyone, and there is no shame in admitting that. Is London overrated or underrated? Neither. London is exactly what it claims to be, a global city with all the benefits and drawbacks that come with it. It is not a fantasy, and it is not a nightmare. It's a real place where real people live, work, struggle, and thrive. The London dream exists, but it costs money, demands resilience, and requires you to adapt. If you are willing to pay the price, literally and figuratively, London will give you experiences, opportunities, and memories that few other cities can match. If you are not, that's perfectly fine. There are other dreams, other cities, and other ways to live a fulfilling life. London does not need to be for everyone, but for those it fits like nothing else.